Report and by extension the People's Court, and we are back with the People's Court. The ladies are back refreshed. They have interacted. They probably are coming back with better things and better news as to what we can do to make sure that we empower the girl child without leaving the boy child behind. The subject tonight being ladies and leadership. I mean, just what do you think they have done in terms of making sure that they remind us that indeed we deserve these leadership positions? When you're looking at the stats, which we say numbers don't lie, we continue to lag behind. But the beauty of it all is that we are up to task and we are here. We're saying that, guess what? We're going to take these positions for ourselves if you're going to decide as society that you do not want to give them to us. So Karibu Sana, of course, as always, we have our guests on that other side and we also have the ladies on this other side. We keep saying that there's no side that is lesser. So asione kuna wengine wako juu wafikirie kwamba tuna demean them. That is not the thing here. It's just that we all cannot fit on this end, neither can we all fit on this end. So as we get to this conversation, I think we have some bites and some basically, of course, clips that we took earlier on that speak to this subject. So we're listening to them as we come back to the ladies.
The concern is if we can, after Beijing, for our achievement. Okay, there's a lot of achievement you've said, but there's still some area in the world, part of Kenya, including. We talk about innovation, but there's still some part in Kenya where you don't have even network. We talk of economic empowerment, but mobile money, but there's some area, very few areas where if we continue talking like this, we leave them behind. So is there a way, if we can do mapping, the whole world, including Kenya, to these parts, to give them affirmative within affirmative? Like there's a lot going on in Kenya, but there's some part they've not, we have left them behind.
My question is on femicide. We've experienced killing of girls, especially in Kenya, for the last 2.5 years or thereabout. I don't know whether this one is a global issue or what would you want to say about it. Then my other comment is on the boy child. Do you think we can reach a point where we'll really be fighting for the girl so much and then we leave the boy child behind? Thank you.
Can actually work with. I see it working in Ethiopia and I see it working in Dubai. So it's something that we can think of. Then I just wanted to clarify that Uganda representation is not and has never been at 70%. They have not even reached 50%. I think they are about 38%. Perhaps what we are talking about is Rwanda, where representation is at 51%. That is almost also influenced by the fact that they had a war. And we came back from the war, there are circumstances that then favored women representation. And it has done very well. So it's not an issue of replacing men with women, but an issue of equality. And then I want to agree with my sister, Captain Ruida, because she comes from a constituency which is very similar with mine. And that's why I was actually saying that I'm impressed that one of my islands, actually I saw mobile phones because it has been without network. So yes, when we are moving on, we must make sure we move on. Kenya is moving at a very high speed, but even within that good, within a good story, there are areas that may be left behind. So we need to be very careful that we carry everybody behind. Finally, let me just comment on the issue on sexual and reproductive health rights. And I don't want to wade into the moral debate about whether abortion is right or abortion is wrong, because that's actually what we're here. And I just want to request the person who put that question that I want to give you an example. When I was in my constituency about a year ago, and this happens very frequently, when I meet the public, because the healthcare system is not at its best because of lack of resources. So people will ask you as a member of parliament to come in and help with your personal money. And sometimes I give like $20 or I give at most $50 to help augment. And they'll be thankful and they move on. And people may not like it, but it's our reality. That's because we don't have as much resources to help.
Yes, UNCW 69 were ladies representing us ably, that is in New York, speaking to the concerns of the women. And some ladies, while this report was being worked on or perhaps was being launched, the report that now we present there as a country, of course, presented by the PS State Department for Gender, some ladies asked a very pertinent question as to whether we have localized the reports that we present, you know, in this global stage. Because then it's one thing for us to have a beautiful report that speaks about women across, yet we do not highlight the concerns, we do not highlight the progress, we do not highlight what we would want addressed locally. Just how local can this female problem, and especially on leadership, be? You know, and I come back to the ladies here. You can take it up. Yeah.
I think in the global stage, and when I look both whether it comes to women issues or even health issues, a country wants to paint the best picture of what they've been able to achieve as a country. However, I think in this year's call in terms of accelerating action is also about providing learning lessons. Yes, you can highlight what you've done very well, but you can also provide learning lessons and opportunities for growth. For instance, when it comes to the women rep issue, it's a brilliant idea because majority of the women governors would never have become governors if they never had a bit of political influence when they served either as women rep or other nominated positions. Mm-hmm. However, do we want to redefine or do we want to create more visibility of what these women rep do? Because some of their roles sort of seem like they're being done by either MCAs or any other MPs. Do we want to create visibility and create a narrative of what really does a women rep do when it comes to the amount that is given to them, when it comes to the projects that are allocated to the women, when it comes to the accountability? What are we holding them accountable to? Not similar to other MPs, so that their work is not lost in between other members of parliament, and we're starting to say they are flower girls, we're starting to say they do not work. So for me, I think at a global stage is to provide, highlight what you've done, but also highlight lessons learned so that you can even secure more support to get to the best level.
All right, beautiful. I think it's only fair that we also listen to what the people are saying back at home. We have some feedback here. Nelly Thuo from Mombasa says, good evening, Linda. We appreciate the conversation this evening, waiting for those ladies to give us women a push for us to go for our dreams. Wanawake hoye. Wanawake hoye. Alafu there is someone else here who says, let us see, yes, JJ says, what about those leaders that have been given an opportunity yet they have proved to be incompetent and have shown that women are probably not capable when they are accorded these positions of power? What do we do to them? Valid concern raised there. Najua mnataka kusema hakuna kitu kama hiyo, lakini tuseme tu ukweli. And then Rael Nzulu says, I encourage women empowerment. That's my #1 role in order to avoid gender discrimination, especially when it comes to marriage. And this evening we are here, we're in the business of empowerment. We carried a story, the only sports story today, you had better clap for TV47, was about Pauline Shegu and her preparation for the rally that is just around the corner. And therefore, yes, we are in that business of making sure that women are empowered. Elizabeth, take it over.
And this is where bado ninauliza, do we really feel the impact ya wanawake ambao wapo katika uongozi? Na tuanzie pale bungeni, na tunahitaji sheria zaidi kuhakikisha kwamba wanawake wanapata nafasi zile. Wakati ninazungumzia lile, wanawake hupata kiwango cha chini zaidi kilinganishwa na milioni 160 ambazo wanaume hupata katika NGCDF. Na hapo ndio najiuliza, manake wanawake wanafikia watu wengi zaidi. Tunahitaji sheria zaidi kuhakikisha kwamba wanawake wanapata mgao zaidi wakati wanakwenda katika nafasi za uongozi. Taanzia kwako.
Okay, so I think that you said something, the comment from someone about the
I saw
roles.
you reacting.
And I'm going to tie to what she's asking. I'll beg to differ with you on the issue of the women rep position. I don't feel it's necessary. I feel it's actually working against women.
Okay.
Main reason being it allows people to have such comments. Oh, but we have women reps, but they're not doing anything. ABCD. Yeah, because there's no men reps. And as long as we have women reps, then women's issues remain women's problems. They should not be women's problems. It's a national problem. If a woman is being sexually violated or being beaten, you know, and murdered, femicide is on a rise. We have all these other issues. It's everyone's problem. It's not only a woman's problem.
Yeah.
So here you are sidelining this, making this position only about women and then telling them, nendeni mujisot. That's literally what's happening. And that plays into this cultural issue that we have where women's issues are not men's issues. We need to remember, and the fact that when we talk about women in leadership or women's rights or accelerating the women's agenda, you know, accelerating action for women's agenda, it's not that we are in competition with men. Men are actually our biggest allies. There are amazing men out there who are doing amazing things for affirmative action to ensure that women have safe spaces at work, have, you know, better all this kind of things that we're fighting for. Men are our allies. So let's get that out of the way. This is not a competition. It's not a conflict. They are our allies. Yeah. So I would say when we're looking at are women doing enough or are women more, first of all, for me, that would be my argument as to why the women's rep position shouldn't be there. It has been designed to fail because the women who come into those positions don't really speak for all women. Number one, maybe a majority of them will feel, this is not my voice, or what, you know, that kind of thing. Number two, it's politically motivated. So when something's politically motivated, it doesn't serve the purpose. Number three, it's under budgeted. So you're going to say this lady is not doing her job, but then the funds are not available to do the job, so already failed. And then that creates this narrative of, you see, even if we give them an office, there's nothing they can do about it. It's everyone's problem.
Affirmative action. What's your take of it before Liz comes in? Because that was as a result of this talk of affirmative action.
Yeah, I mean, affirmative action is like it's everyone's. It's right up there with what the kind of things that we need. What is affirmative action? Like let's start there. I think many people feel that affirmative action is all about feminists and feminist movements. Let's all take off our bras and walk topless in the streets. No, that's not what affirmative action is. It's about having policies that are drawn up that protect women. We were talking about it during the tea break. Our Employment Act says what? 3 months maternity leave paid for women. How is that even okay? It's not. By the time you're back in office, you've lost out on opportunities for promotions. You're still bleeding, probably. You're still serving your CS thing. You've got a 3-month-old child at home and you're supposed to be functioning at work. And the men, 2 weeks, again, just like the women reps position, you take those 2 weeks, put your feet up, have a beer, you know, take your time off. So it's a woman's problem again to raise the child. She just birthed, her body is healing, now let her also raise the child. Like, why isn't it 3 months, 3 months? You get what I mean? Right. So affirmative action is not only about this whole negative, toxic feminism. I'm saying toxic because I feel when women start saying we are fighting men or we want to be like men, we're already cutting ourselves short and we are missing the point. Okay. So affirmative action for me is those, like every girl to go to school, the right to inherit, the right to divorce, the right to marriage, to say yes or no, the right to enjoy sex and not be, your clitoris be removed. All those kind of things, that's affirmative action to us.
All right.
And possibly to just butt in on the role of a women rep in this country. The role of a women rep is not to speak on behalf of the women. It is to provide an opportunity for women to participate in the lawmaking process, to participate in advocacy. So, and that is why I said, as much as, yes, we have provided an opportunity for women to become leaders, how have we structured that role? So that to make sure that women are not being judged by whether they spoke about women, whether they gave sanitary pads, or whether they went to a girls' school to speak, yet there are significant issues that are happening in the society that you as a woman are able to articulate, but you're not speaking in parliament. So that is why we need to provide avenues of measuring the performance of women rep based on the Constitution, not based on the fact that we have thought that women rep are just supposed to speak on behalf of the women.
Speaking of affirmative action also, I've been reminded of Gen Z during the demonstrations, they didn't want the top-up on the gender when it comes to women and representation in parliament. And this goes to many women and myself and any other woman who wants to be in leadership, wondering whether we need these spaces on top-up basis or we need to go for these spaces. Pauline.
Allow me not to engage further on politics, but I want to appreciate that we have women reps in parliament. Many years we didn't have women representing our country. It's a privilege. As much as we have a few who can articulate issues touching on government policies, women agenda, but I'm happy, I'm proud to say that I feel nice when I see we have more members of parliament, women, we have governors, we have senators, women, we have women reps, because they are representing us. And I'm sure they have agendas when they go to that parliament to discuss about. For that woman or that lady to be elected, to be a women rep in parliament, there is something, there's an agenda. I'm sure this person gave out what was required, manifesto yake. She gave the manifesto about what she's supposed to. I want to agree with her, I want to concur with her that I don't want to be labored on women rep that they're not doing much, they are given less budget, but I want to look at it in a point of view that these youngsters seated here, the lady from Kericho, the one vying, she wants to be a woman rep. So I don't want to talk negative about that position because I want her to take that position to represent her county. These are the ones who want to be women reps. Next time you'll want to be a women rep. We want more women to be in that National Assembly and the Senate to represent the women's agenda and other national agendas. So I'm of the opinion that let's support more women to get into that house. Let them go there and put our voice on behalf. If we find that someone is not giving our voice, is not talking about women agenda, there is, you see, like the town hall we are doing, it's free. The country is free of calling those women. We sit with them and tell them, please go and represent our agenda. This is what we want from you. This is what we need. Because they are elected. They're representing us. There's nothing we can do about it. The more if we talk negative about them, we are giving men an opportunity to grab that position and to scrap it. And yet we want so many women to represent us. So for women, let us go for those positions.
Liz, I would want to hear what Linda has to say about that. And it has to be in 30 seconds because now she's vying for a position that we are questioning this evening. But as well, Liz will get to engage the rest of the panelists. So it has to be 30 seconds. Linda, your position yako unaonaje? Because at this rate.
Let me tell you, Linda, the main reason why I want to run for the position is because I was once a product of hardness. And when I got the opportunity and got favor from God, then I decided that I was going to serve in the seat. I was going to vie so that I can help people. Because I've gone to many places and I've seen the way the people suffer. There are some people we can never reach out to. But for me, it's going to be very different.
In your research, do you suppose that this position would allow you the chance to serve the people? We're talking about it being underfunded. We're talking about it being questioned. We're talking about legislation, oversight, and representation at the level of parliament. Just how much do you think you can do with it?
Okay. As I said, if given this position, I feel like I can reach out to more people, like to the grassroots. For me, I like engaging with people. I don't care the way a person is, but for me, I focus more on what the people are saying. Because the Constitution, Article 1 says that the people have power. See, people have power. Yeah, that's why I want to be there, because I feel I fit to be there. Yeah.
All right, please.
Well, thank you so much, Linda, for that. So now we are going to engage the audience once again. And I would also like our audience to talk about just how we can use our natural abilities as women to fill up the leadership position. I will start with her. So kindly start by introducing yourself and just weigh.
Thank you so much. My name is Grace Wangari Ohanga from the Multimedia University of Kenya. I am really impressed to see great leaders sitting in front of us. You really inspire us. You know, engaging one-on-one is really good. Okay, let me divert their attention and give you a different perception about maybe leadership. So I think most of the ladies, we should not perceive, okay, when I enter into politics, I should not look it as if I'm a lady. When I enter into politics, I am a leader.
Okay.
When I get into that position, you're not judging me based on the gender. I am getting there to serve.
Right.
So I think that is a perception that we all need to change. When you get into a position, you're not a lady, you are a leader.
Okay.
Go and serve. Serve the people of Kenya. As she has said, power belongs to the
people.
Serve the people of Kenya. Thank you so much.
Okay, it's fine.
Good evening. My name is Ruth Wamuhu. I'm a student leader from the Technical University of Kenya. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I love the discussion today because it speaks so close to my heart. And I will start off by saying that I became a presiding officer at the age of 19 years. And that is to say that you know how electoral polling stations are usually like. And I remember I didn't get that opportunity because someone, came and told me, you are fit for that particular position. I remember when people were going for the training, I literally sneaked into the room with a chair. And once I was given, so I was shaking when I was doing the particular training, but I decided to take up that step. And when I was at my polling station, I remember I received so many insults, especially because my machine was faulty and people were like, wewe kasichana kadogo, unatusumbua, we ni mtu mdogo sana, you do not even deserve to be a polling presiding officer. Then came to my electoral position in my own campus. And the point is, no one is going to come and give you a position. And I will go with the fact that we as women, we need to go for those positions. I've come here previously and I've seen Linda and her counterpart presenting news. There's no difference actually. But we need to look at, when you talk about women in leadership, we need to look at the value proposition. What are you bringing? I remember when I was campaigning and I was engaging my male counterparts, they will tell me, you are a lady. Just package yourself very well, smile, just give people tight hugs. And then all the male delegates will be on your side. And I will tell you, for me, I just sat down and I'm like, so you want to tell me I'll be hugging, because campaigning is from morning till evening. So don't tell me I'll be hugging people, you need to hug them tightly. It didn't sit well with me as a person. It's not like I don't like hugging, but it didn't sit well that I would use that as a strategy for me to win. So I will sit down with my male counterparts and I will give them my manifestos. I had four manifestos to give. And people entrusted me with that particular position. So what does this tell us as women? The challenge we have with the women rep position is that once women are elected into these elective positions, they get into the political arena. You have been put there that's an affirmative role that you have been given. So I would agree with forgotten her name, but I will agree with her when she says that sometimes the challenges that women reps get themselves into is once they get into these particular positions, we want them to speak about period leaves, for example. We need them to speak about increasing from 3 months to 12 months, for instance. We need them to speak about 2 weeks to maybe 3 months. But now, even when you're having the Gen Z protest, our speakers have rightly said, when you get to parliament, they are legislators. When you get to parliament, you're also part of the legislative process. Therefore, when these matters come to you, remember these are your children that were crying. But we had women who were arrogantly, sorry to say, addressing young people when we know very well they were taxing diapers, they were taxing sanitary towels. This is something that should speak to your heart, because if we have younger sisters or younger brothers here, I want to believe that each and every one of us got out of our houses after cooking for them. And it is your personal responsibility to know that today I have 10, so I need to maybe measure 2 cups or 3 cups of rice. What does that tell you? When women come onto the leadership table, they do not bring leadership, they bring commitment, they bring empathy. But that is what we need as a country, because we have gotten to a position where we're getting people who are so comfortable, so arrogant, and I believe that if we changed from 35% or 30% representation to 50%, I can swear it. I don't know whether I have so much money in my bank, but I can attest to the fact that we're going to have transformative leadership. Apart from ladies who are not doing so much as they are expected. I think that should not be used as a measure of how, because it's a matter of personality. What do you believe in? Why did the people entrust you with that particular position?
Beautiful.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jane Dongo. I was a youth mentor at USAID Tumikia Mtoto, though it is freezed because of the funding. So my perspective was, what if we talk about engaging men in this journey? Because you've insisted that this is not a competition. So how are we mentoring men and telling them it is okay for this woman to come and do this? How are we doing this? Through engaging in the care program, that this woman can wake up today, the man can say, let me do this, you can go maybe to school or do that. What if we change the conversation to how are we mentoring men to understand that we need women in these positions? What are we telling men? And also for you panelists, what conversation do you have with the men in your lives? Your husbands, your brothers, your fathers, what conversation did you have that they allowed you to let your wings fly? How was the environment with the men around? Thank you.
That's interesting, eh? And I think as we see the mic going round, maybe it's fair that perhaps Rev tells us what is the conversation that happens with the men as we come to you.
Very good question, because I think it is a paradigm. She's brought a paradigm shift and focus on the men for the sake of the women. You know, do we have even that in the first place? Because probably, again, being in the knowledge industry, it's a knowledge issue. If they don't know, like the way men move out of the bedroom. I mean, this child is screaming. I have to sleep. What about the woman? She doesn't have to sleep. She's also going to a job. So I think it's not that men are deliberately being mean, but the knowledge, the awareness, the training around the whole process needs to be within a couple, system. And that is probably what is missing. And people get involved in relationships of marriage, and they have never fathomed what it means to get a child. Especially terrible children. They have colic, they scream, they don't sleep. People don't envision that, and the woman goes into depression, and the man does not understand it is depression. That she's under depression. And so I think it's an understanding concept that needs to go back to the basics, where we are saying, can men also be educated? That before you get this child, this is what it will mean. And I think that is also the conversation, I think, around where my colleagues were also talking about, even our misunderstanding. Because I can see, we went to school with Gladys Cholet. We were in school with Gladys Cholet. And so, and a lot of the people that we went with in Loreto are lawyers and judges. I guess maybe it's the principal. Sometimes they say the principal's influence. But when you look at the legal aspect of the job, and someone has rightfully articulated, it's a legal thing. It's not a women thing. It's not because I'm a woman, so I need to take things like that. So I think there is something about leadership that lacks information. There is information, because for me, even looking at leadership, I have seen the gap in Africa. Even when we were given back our independence, we were given the role of supervisor, the role of manager, but not the role of the leader. That's why people mess up. Even when they are CEOs, they still operate, they catch feelings. And you say, excuse me, you are the CEO. Like you can make the rules around here, and they are still catching because of some emotional, baggage they are carrying. So it means there was a way we did not get, that part was not given to us. That's why when the church is also given leadership of the African nature, they don't do well. Because leadership lessons and leadership classes were missing. If you go also to the organizations, you go to several other things. The leadership aspect is the problem of Africa today. Okay. And it's also the problem of the genders. Because when we go back, we are told God created male and female, created them He. He did not say that this one is better than the other. So we are of the same equal status. So I think it's a concept that we now need to, like press factory settings, like reset the factory settings in us and not take ourselves as the lesser and the men as and then the knowledge is managed towards love for one another.
Beautiful. We'll take it back to Liz. Liz, I remember while engaging men at some society and just trying to figure out whether they understand the nitty-gritty details of FGM. Surprisingly, no matter how much they push for them, a Maasai man wearing his shuka and everything, they do not understand the pain that the girls go through. They do not understand the problem of not enjoying pleasure. They do not understand all these things. So them, it is culture that was with the forefathers, iendele. But now when you get to engage them and they see the horrific stories that their girls are saying, you actually do not want to see your sister going through that, your mother and everything. And therefore it becomes easy when they have the knowledge to actually help in aiming off this practice. Over.
Still on men, Linda, when you talk to men, you'll hear they say, we are empowering the women, but we do not teach the men how to live with an empowered woman. Yes. So maybe we should hear from our audience what do they think about that as well.
My name is Mildred Ademo. I'm a fresh graduate from the University of Nairobi, a good product of the Wings to Fly under the mentorship of the Equity Bank Foundation. Nice. For me, what I would want to add to the discussion is that I would want to add on what you said. Being a fresh graduate, trying to navigate through the corporate world, I once got an interview at this job company. And then when I went, I passed the interview and then I was to go to study work, but I had to be signed for the job contract. And then I met this young man. He was like, no, you're too small, you can't work here. You don't need ladies to work here. And I was like, you just have to undermine me because I'm a girl and I can't work here and I've passed the interview, I passed through everything. But I had to walk out of that company disappointed and I told him that you don't know how much you've lost by just denying me this chance. And then another scenario to add on that is that there's this one person who told me that her payment was undercut just because she's a lady working in a company dominated by men. On the discussion of today is that as much as we are talking about women in leadership, we are talking about these strategies that we need to put in so that women can be up in the leadership. One of them is empowerment. We need to empower the girl child. We need to empower this woman. Also, let us not forget the boy child. We need to empower also the boy child in such a way that they can accommodate these ladies in the workplace. I felt so bad when I was denied the chance. The young man was like, I can't sign for you and there's no way you can take me. And I was like, oh, it's okay. I felt bad. That's what it was.
So eventually you never got that opportunity?
I never got that opportunity. I'm still looking for it.
I wish we can name and shame sometimes,
Hi, good evening. My name is Terry Mora Jefta. I'm from Kibra, the community where a lot of things happen. I'm so proud to be here and share the platform with great women with a great vision. And I am a lot of things. I am quite a lot of things. If I start mentioning them here, I'll be even very surprised of myself. But allow me to mention a few. I am a PA, executive assistant to the CEO of Traverse Culture. Shout out to Traverse Culture. I'm also a mentor. I mentor a lot of girls in Kibra, about 1,000 or more. Nice. And I'm also a Femme Inspire, whereby we sit down with fellow GYWs and get to discuss about women affairs. I also do empowerment and advocate and activism for women and girls from Kibra. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm a lot of things. So allow me to give you a very short brief or a short story of how empowerment has been very vital. We've really made a lot of steps from where we began as a country in the year, let me just mention the 30 Beijing Plus that is 30 years old right now. If we take our minds back then, we started as an empowerment. We wanted to empower the girl so that she can get to the same level where the man was. And we realized that the empowerment was not making any improvement. We changed from empowerment, we went to equality. Equality is give me 50, give the man 50. Equal to what the empowerment did, it didn't like do a lot of things in terms of bringing the girl to where we wanted them to be. We changed it. We said, let's do equity. So equity as well didn't give us the fruits that we were looking for. Now we are here as a country, as a nation, as the world, trying to discuss about inclusivity. We are saying, let's have the women and male on the same table and the same advocacy table where policies are made, and still we have the gaps. Are we sitting down and reflecting on what we are not doing the right way? Because at the end of the day, at the end of the year, we need to give a report. And the report, based on what we are fighting for this year, our main goal being accelerating action. What are we doing right? And for me, from the grassroots, what we are doing as an organization is passing the baton. Those women who are in leadership, who have been there. A good example is her. She passed baton to someone and she held the hand. Can't we hold each and everyone in this room? Because we have the potential. If you take 2 girls and make sure that you follow up on those 2 girls within this space, don't you see that at the end of the day, we'll have a lot of 30 faces, new faces in these opportunities and spaces, and change the old face? Because at the end of the day, if I win, my community win, because naturally women are caregivers. They bring up society. Women are creatures that are meant to nurture and take care of people. So if you give an opportunity to a small girl in the community, if you give out an opportunity to maybe a journalist who wants to grow here, at the end of the day, we won't be lamenting and saying there's no women in the leadership spaces. So kindly, if you go back to your spaces, please hold someone a hand. It doesn't matter how long you will hold them. Just hold them and remind them, I'm here. Wherever you want to talk to someone or get advice from someone, I'm here to walk you through. Because a lot of things happen. I'm wearing a suit today. I normally don't love dressing up. It's my problem. But I'm wearing a suit today, all because someone could not respect me, because I am very small in body and I was to represent my CEO somewhere. So they had to mention some weird names about me, and I was like, no. I am here. I had to give out cards so that they can understand I'm someone very important and they need me, I need them as well. So we don't have to explain that. Even dressing up, telling someone you need to dress like this when you go this way, that only can help, The small things that we discard small, they are very impactful in our lives. So please, call to action, hold someone a hand. Let's do this. The women, we can run the world, and we are grounding today.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Mercy Makau. I am a human resource professional and a career coach. So today, I really like the topic of discussion, and I'll be talking about how you can rise into leadership. I like what Elizabeth has said. We have really lamented, and it reminded me one of the 48 laws of power. It says it should be action and not argument. All right. So one of the things that people, especially those who are at top, do is again in the 48 laws of power. They make you work, then they take the credit. Okay. So today, if you're working and you've done that job, make sure you've mentioned it's you who done that job. All right. The other thing is, I like what someone said here. It's not about being a woman. What are you bringing on the table? Yes, you want that leadership position, but why should we make you a leader? You want to be a manager. Right now you are an officer. You want to be a manager. Why should we make you a manager? Show us that you have went back to school and you've gained that master's. You've gained that PhD, okay? When it comes to performance, you should be keeping track of your performance. Go to your HR, tell them, for example, if it was a probation, or rather if they had promised to increase your salary, tell them, Mr. or Madam HR, we had agreed that if I meet my KPIs, my salary will be increased. And here are my KPIs. So how are we supposed to go about it? Through that way, you'll get your promotion. The other thing I want to agree with my fellow HR here, I'm a career coach. I help people get jobs. And I've seen a lot of women, they are already qualified for that job, but they are still doubting themselves. They are asking me, Mercy, should I still apply for this job? You know, I don't have this skill. I don't have blah, blah, blah. But I tell them, if it's a skill you can learn within one day, you don't have to worry. You just apply. And at the same time, I meet their male counterparts, and they have so much confidence in their skills, even if they don't have them anyway. They know that yes, they are confident that even if something has been written in that job description and they don't meet it, they know that they are confident to apply for that, something which female counterparts do not have. All right. Then the other thing we need to be doing is, I like what all of you have been saying. Do not be a flower girl. You are a girl, all right? You're already a flower. You're already beautiful, all right? Your beauty enough is not enough. Make sure you are bringing up points. At the end of the day, it's the noisy person who gets the opportunity, not someone who is really qualified. So if you don't make noise, someone who is, I'm sorry to say, damper in quotes, they get that opportunity while you're still there seated and you're saying, na mimi niko qualified kumliko, ni nini, nijua na make kelele, umesema we ni muungwana. Something else we need to drop is the culture. The good girl culture, all right? What does it say? You should be quiet. Unafaa kuwa unanyamaza, unaongea nini mbele ya wanaume? And that's why men are talking na wewe unanyamaza. They have been promoted. Something else, self-promotion. If you don't promote yourself, who will come and promote you? They say, God is for us all, and everybody is for their own self. So it's up to you to campaign for your own self. Yes. Kila mtu anaamka anafikiria stories zake. Someone has got family, someone is studying. Where will they get time to think about you? It is not possible. Okay? It is not possible. And for us who are managing people, as my fellow HR and also leaders, we also need to come up with policies which help women. For instance, there is something in HR called DAY, or rather diversity, equity, and inclusivity. Okay? Now, what I want to focus more on today is on equity, and it brings me to something I call the positive and the negative feminism. We need to embrace positive feminism. What is equity? Equity is very different from equality. Equality, just as the name suggests, is drawn from the word equal. Equal meaning things of equal size, all right? But equity is what is more important. I like what my fellow colleagues have said earlier on. There is men and there is a woman. Today, hata nikitaka kukua aje, I can't be a man, okay? So what am I supposed to do? It's up to me now to upgrade myself, and as I said earlier, instead of competing with them.
Beautiful.
All right? Yes. And also, as society, we need to drop the negative feminism, whereby we see women as objects of sex. Okay?
All right.
So you don't have to use your body to get that promotion. Okay?
Right.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. HR lessons 3. Yeah, you want to respond? Okay.
Okay. I want to appreciate the speakers. First, allow me to appreciate the young girl, and I want to advise you, don't give up. Never give up. Whatever. Let me give you an example, but in line with sports, because that is my passion. Just the way you've explained yourself, the way this person looked at you and felt you're a young girl. No. When I got into the motorsport, I was a young girl like you. And I met men. You know, motorsport is for men. I got men with their cars, the machines. And these are the same machines I'm driving. They are cars. I don't have my own rally car, but I'm driving their cars. Why? They looked at me and said, Pauline, you are ready for this thing? Are you sure? Like, you are a lady. I'm not a tomboy. I was not born a tomboy. But they saw me and felt like, no, you can't do this. But let me tell you, it starts with you. Accept yourself first. And just tell yourself that, no, this is me and I can do it. Don't allow someone else to talk about you and say something negative about you. Never. When this person told you this, you could have gone to the next level. Never give up to that level. Move to the next person, give your issues, then they'll advise you what to do. Never give up, my sister.
Thank you.
Maybe that was a blessing in disguise for you. You never know after today what will happen to you next. I want to support our HR coach here on leadership. It starts with you, your mind. Start carrying yourself like a leader. When you walk like a leader. Eh? Wanasema telekao. Nimesikia hiyo. So as a leader, start. Why? Us ladies, even in church, you go to church, you decide to go to the back bench. You leave those front seats vacant. For who? Take a lead by sitting in the front seat, in front of the pulpit. Just move yourself to that position. When you come to this forum, take the front seat. Unachia nani? Ukienda kwa forum workshops where there are men and there are seats in front, unless they are written reserved, you'll ask for who? So next seat ni ya nani? Haina mtu. Kaa hapo next. Take that lead. So it starts with you.
It is a mindset.
My lady here, you said that you've done your hairstyle so that you fit in that space. When you spoke about that, it somehow hit me and I felt like, no, you can't do that because you want to impress someone or you want to make them feel like, no, they need to appreciate you, you are a CEO. No. First, the way you present yourself before people, the way you talk to people, the way you walk, the way you dress. You know, this season is a season, or I can say this is a time for Gen Zs. And we are here to help you, Gen Zs. You want to take these positions, you want to be leaders, you want to be MPs, you want to be governors in future. Start with the way you carry yourself, how you talk to people, how you articulate issues, how you dress matters a lot. People judge you the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you dress, but I'll not, they say your dress, your choice, but sometimes it affects you. Maybe you went to look for this job and you dressed just anyhow. They were like, now this is how he's gonna dress. And that place has men, like your granddads, your fathers. So sometimes, you know, when you go to the office, dress decent for those 8 hours. After the 8 hours, go and change. You can even decide to walk naked. But within that short time. But as much as I tell you walk naked after 5, remember, you don't know who you'll meet out here. There's always a third eye that looks at you. There's always that a third eye. And that will be your, it will be your game changer. That person is the one who will change everything in your life. So go and think about it. This is a challenge to all of you. You might think that you lost an opportunity because of this person looked down upon you, or this person alikuwa nakaona wewe hauna kichochote. It's maybe the way you dressed mbele yake. And maybe he was a CEO. And then be powerful. Talk, sauti, toa sauti. Sikuwa mtoto. Hapana, nimekuja. No. Mwambie, I'm here, I have papers. Let your papers speak for itself. Unasikia? Yeah, me, I'm in motorsport. I compete with men, serious men in motorsport. But I said to myself, I can do it. What a man can do, a woman can do better.
Beautiful.
So make sure you run with that. This is your parting shot. Never. Do what? give up. My sister, I really feel you. But sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. You never know. After today, huwezi jua Mungu amekupangia nini. So, what I want you to do is coaching. Because unaongea sana kuona huyu mtoto atasema hii ni child labor.
And he can get away with that.
Talk with authority. Okay. But also how you dress, how you talk, how you walk, how you interact with people, with your fellow colleagues, your fellow women. Your hairstyle, you can do whatever you want to do it. But remember, when you're going to look for something, just be decent, outstanding. In fact, you can shine more than the boss who's going to employ you. Atasahau kuangalia papers zako na kupatie kazi. Because you are an example to the rest.
Okay.
Sawa?
Right, kabla tuingie kwake Liz again kusikia kwake Roslyn, ni kwamba swali letu la siku hii ya leo katika kikao tulikuwa tunauliza, je, ni mwanamke yupi unadhani ni kiongozi bora katika taifa hili la Kenya? Na wengi wamesema Auditor General Nyakango, wengine wamesema Gathungu, wengine wakasema COB anafahamika kama Nyakango, then kwa Auditor General wakasema Gathungu, wengine wakasema Martha Karua, wengine wakasema kuna huyu Auditor General Walaya na Nibamba, kuna Gladys Wanga. 12 disciples were men, period. Sasa ameamua kutuchomea. Anasema kwamba wanawake hawastahili, lakini ni mmoja kati ya wachache anaitwa Sultan. Na kuna huyu anasema Nyakango plus Gathungu anastahili kuwa ndio president na deputy president. Luther Mkenya anasema vile Mbarire. Kuna mwingine anasema Wanga, Millie Odhiambo of course, Nancy, Gathungu, Anne Waiguru. Huyu anaita Bensuda lakini amemwandika Pensuta. Kuna Elias Dodo, kuna mwingine amesema Ngilu, wote kwa pamoja. Lakini kulikuwa na comment ya mmoja,
Martha Karua pia.
Martha Karua na alikuwa ametajwa. Ila mwelekezi wetu Emmanuel, kuna comment ya Lawi Adol alikuwa amesema great program there, nafasi ya wanawake katika uongozi, congratulations. My take is that in everything we do to assert our endeavor in having these spaces, we need not to appear to be playing victims, but to seek to perch a pedestal meant to appreciate everyone equally. We shouldn't discard our culture just to appear to be advancing, yet we could be retrogressive without knowing. I fully appreciate women trying to have their spaces, and so personally I am a father to many girls and would wish to see them break the ceiling and could be there. That is a positive, very positive comment from Lawi. Now tunarudi kwako Liz.
Mpatia kipaza sauti Roslyn hapa ambaye anasema ako na hoja moto kabisa ambayo angependa kuwasilisha. Hebu tumsikize. Karibu Roslyn.
A woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman. Yeah. Good evening, you all.
Good evening.
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
Mukami Mumbi, and introducing myself as Mukami Mumbi is so intentional. If you will realize, Mukami Mumbi, Sani Mumbi, I was raised by a single mother. Am I not?
No.
Am I not enough?
No.
Hasn't she done a good job?
Perfect.
Hasn't she?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so honored to be in this podium to associate with great women as we are aspiring to be, aren't we? Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself on what I'm doing. I'm a lawyer in the making, meaning I'm a law student at MKU Parklands.
Yes.
Hi. So most of my arguments, I'll base them legally. Are we together? To start with, on the two-third gender role. It is enshrined in the Constitution of Kenya 2010. And it has been so controversial that there has been cases in the courts where our women, or rather organizations led by women, have pushed the cases to courts trying to implement the two-third gender role. And you'll find the Attorney General, that is the AG of our country, Kenya. They say, or rather they base their arguments on, like, it cannot be implemented hapo, it's gradual, okay? There is this one case that is a 2011 case, and they said it will be implemented by 2015, but now they face challenges up to date on implementing the that gender role. Why? Because we women, we are not stepping, atutokeleze kuwakilisha the positions, and I'm so happy for what's your name, please? Our future women rep?
Linda.
Linda. I'm so happy for you that through you, or we'll get more, like, I really hope you will inspire more women. Whatever you will do will inspire more women to go and seek that role. Because right now, we're seeing our Chief Justice. Actually, she's the first woman to be a Chief Justice of Kenya. Martha Koome, like, she's really advocating for, like, women in leadership, because it's so challenging, like, what do I say? Lack of a better term. Like, sisi wanawake, we're seeing like we are not enough. We are not enough. Why? By the quotes I quoted earlier, all of you here, like, we are great voices, and we, tukishikana wote, won't we form a great Kenya and a great world? We will, right? Number 2, we discussed about cultures. Cultures, what are cultures? I believe cultures are beliefs, aren't they? They are. So I think in one way or the other, we can break those beliefs. Like, there is this belief that women cannot own land, as in the context of an inheritance in family. It's in law. So don't be surprised. Okay, fine. In succession, you'll find, like, many cases, you'll find men arguing that women in their cultures are not allowed to own land. Who said, are we not responsible? Can't we manage lands? What is special about managing lands that we can do? Is there anything special? No, please answer.
No.
Is there anything special? So it's just like having your title, a legit title for that matter, isn't it? A woman being your own woman. Some people are born jealous, let me say that. They were born jealous or something. Not like they are women are their own enemies. We can break those norms, because tell me why I'll hate on someone I don't know. She used her, let me use her example. Like, a woman, okay, a woman hated you, she doesn't know you. Like, who does that? It's not good, okay? So, due to lack of time, thank you.
Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Sasa tutachukua mapumziko mafupi tu. Wengine katika jukwaa langu hapo wananiarifu kwamba wako na maswali kwa jukwaa ambalo liko hapa mbele. Kwa hivyo tutarejea muda usiokuwa mrefu.